It only takes 2 months for whatever you just paid for this furnace. You're going to pay $400 to $600 more to get this done quickly.
I was just tired of the one-legged stool on the cheap side. I was just burnt out on that. But then the other thing is, like the good, fast, cheap model. That was what I had heard for years and years and years, like in my earlier days. And I did some multifamily while I was in school. And I went to IUPUI, now IU in Indianapolis, but I did multifamily during those times, and it was always the good, fast, and cheap model. Yeah, but in 2010, 12, 14, even 2016, you could still get things done relatively cheap.
Yep.
But I'm trying to bring that back. I got a call from one of your ops managers yesterday. Hey, no heat. What's it look like? I said, yeah, let me call a guy, let me get a bid, and it got installed today. The furnace did. Like that's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to bring, because that's what I want to get back to is the phone calls, the quick responses, the email responses. Yay, thumbs up, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Rather than in my previous life, it was a hierarchy. To fix a hole in the wall. It took you 2 weeks to get approval. And it's like, I don't see that at all, with who I'm currently working with and definitely not with y'all. So
that was just for people that don't know because you're throwing around the good, fast, and cheap. Like, I want to bring that back to the furnace thing, but can you break down what for listeners who might not know the whole saying with good, fast, and cheap?
Yeah. I mean, you mean like the jack of all trades, the whole extension, or just those three, like and kind of what the breakdown is of those three?
Well, I always heard is you get to pick two, right?
Yeah, the old tripods is done. Yeah, it's a two-legged stool is what we've been saying.
Yeah.
And
can you walk us through what the two?
Yeah. So it's good quality, quick to respond, quick to get it done, and cheap explains itself. Just as cheap as you can get it done, right? Without cutting those corners, right? So it's like you can get it done really cheap. You can get it done really fast, but it's going to be pretty bad quality.
Yeah,
it's
not going to be good.
Not going to be good quality, right? Good quality, and fast is going to be, some of your big name box trucks you see around town, and then good and cheap is just not going to be very quick to get it done. So I'm trying to make a hybrid of the three of those, and hit it 80% of the time if I can, on that tripod,
Yeah. You can try to maintain all three, but typically companies will always kind of gravitate towards two with their quotes, or it can even like change from one quote to another.
Right.
It's like, I can do it good and I can do it fast, but it's not going to be cheap, or I can do it cheap and I can do it good, but it's not going to be fast.
Yeah, and I was just tired of the one-legged stool, the cheap side. I was just burnt out on that. And I get it, right? There's loan covenants. There's a lot that plays into these big portfolios that you're managing, but at the same time, I went back to my 2013 self. Just fresh out of school. It's like what I want to do, and that just wasn't quite it. So I wanted to pivot and see what I can potentially do here, and I'm trying to partner up with like Ivy Tech, those kind of trade-related schools to get some internship type, apprenticeship type, students. And like I said, I just want to grow this community up, through what I potentially can offer is kind of where I'm at with it.
I'm curious. So on that I appreciate you bringing up that furnace quote, because that's something, I feel like that's an expectation we're always trying to, put across with clients. Like, okay, if we really want to go and be above and beyond and make this tenant happy with how we're dealing with this scenario, like we want to deal with it quickly. But if we bring somebody in to deal with it quickly, it's like it's that good, fast, and cheap. It's not going to be cheap. Like we can't get the cheapest, HVAC quote, because that person's not going to be there for 2 or 3 weeks, and then you're going to have a tenant that doesn't have heat for 2 or 3 weeks, and it's 10 degrees outside.
Sure.
So
yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. So that kind of. I'm curious. Are you willing to? Do you mind sharing like kind of what that number was? I mean, we're not giving away the address or anybody's business.
Sure.
But
so for everything to be done, part of it was a speed. Was $4,400. And that was with with my HVAC partner. That was them moving around the schedule to be able to get it done. And then we make a couple dollars on top of that as well.
Yeah.
And that was everything out the door. And I was told it had to be below this, and we far exceeded that number, and if it wasn't that, if it was a vacant house, it would have been 38, 39, right. But it's just, there's a lot that goes into the,
and that's the thing, that might be,
side.
If that's a rental where the rent's over $2,000 a month, this is the expectation I try to or the almost like the mindset I try to give clients, like, you know, if not dealing with this quickly leads to this tenant not wanting to renew their lease, you know, or being so upset that they're trying to break their lease or something, like this isn't just about doing the right thing for the tenant. Like, you also might be costing yourself, like that. Like if you end up with a vacancy here soon, you know, you're talking $2,000 a month. Like, it only takes 2 months for the whatever you just paid for this furnace.
Yep.
Not to mention, it's not like it's going to be $0 if you take a long time doing it.
Right.
Because I'm curious, are you able to kind of give me a rough idea? Because I think this is valuable for, you know, our listeners to hear. Like, if we had said like, hey, take your time, like when you get to it, let's say it's a, you know, vacant property, like what would that same furnace kind of run if it's not urgent?
38 to 4, just depends, you know. And that was with us sight unseen. You know, it was just a call last night. Hey, what can you make happen, kind of thing. You know, and it was no heat, of course. So that was where the urgency comes into play. You know, hey, water's off, water shut off, you know, at this property, no issues. You know, we want to kind of shop this around a little bit. You know, then it'd be like that 38 to 4. And obviously, if you're doing the whole system, you're getting a better deal. But I get it, like kind of piecing it out at times. Just make the bottom line work for the year. Understandable.
Absolutely. And that, I mean, I'm so interested in the numbers because like that, I think that's a perfect little flashpoint, a perfect example of a microcosm that represents like so much of what happens in property management and with, you know, private landlords. Not everybody has the same experience level when it comes to like dealing with this stuff. So we're always trying to educate like our clients. And it's like, okay, yeah, you're going to pay $400 to $600 more to get this done quickly. But like I said, with that opportunity cost, like how much opportunity costs are you possibly eating if you end up with a vacancy for taking a long time because we told a contractor to, or we went out and we shopped multiple quotes to just try to, you know, save you $100 or $200 instead of working with somebody like you who's already a dedicated contractor. We know you're giving us a fair price, and you're going to get it handled in, you know, 24 hours. Like, that's
the subs that I use. You know, I'm trying to get to the point where I want to get a plumber next year on, you know, I've done the numbers and subbing out the larger plumbing jobs, you know, just it's working, but it doesn't make sense, you know, longer term. So I'm looking at onboarding a plumber next year. You know, but right now I have investor-based subs. You know, all these subs that have worked for investors for years and years and years, like the HVAC side of things, right? And it's like, I get it, you know, you need to get that done quick. Let me see if I can move a couple things around, you know, for you. And it's like, you know, what's it look like, you know, for a few $100 more? I'm like, they're probably going to go for it, you know, and I say, what's your number? And then I, you know, responded back and said, you know, here's where we're at. And it's cheaper and tomorrow's great. So and it's already installed today. It's already been installed. So, you know, that's what I'm trying to offer, is that kind of scenario. Now going back to, you know, the occupied side, you know, which this one was, but just something like that I would go into, or one of my guys would go into, is exactly what you mentioned, the renewal side of things. And that's what I want to get is, there's a very fine line between saying enough and saying too much, you know, when it comes to talking with the resident, you know, especially if it's, hey, no hot water, or hey, this, that, or another, or, you know, it's a larger issue, but, you know, we'll get you taken care of. Kind of explain a little bit, you know. I got one guy that's you know, worked for management companies in the past and gets it as far as on staff, or I should say management tech at old companies. But so, like, you know, he knows and I know, and that's why we go into these houses, right, to try to get things fixed, you know, quickly, efficiently, and, you know, at some kind of a, you know, reasonable cost to you guys. And if not, we try to explain a little bit, you know, and then we get everything back to you within Appfolio. Same day, you know, if it's an estimate or whatever the case may be, same day.
You can check out our full library of episodes wherever you get your podcasts.